Tonight on What the Heck Do I Know's PM Update, Target Ambition, and Memespiration segments, we're talking about goals related to personal finances. No matter what your situation is with personal finance, how you handle it has a lot to do with your happiness, comfort, and maybe even your stress levels. If you think you don't have enough money to make it worth setting goals, I suggest that this is the time to be most careful and goal-oriented. If you think you have a lot, goal setting and management is important to make sure it works for you, instead of the other way around. As always, we recommend a project management approach and SMART goals to make things happen. Interested in finding out more? It's all coming up next, so stay with us. Hey guys, I really enjoy making these videos for you, so if you get value from them or know someone who would, please support us by hitting like, subscribe, leaving comments, or sharing. What the Heck Do I Know presents PM Update with Leah and Mia. And now your host, Leah. Welcome back to PM Update. I'm Leah. Personal finance is a broad category that includes the management of all the money you take in, what goes out, and how you manage it in between. How you manage your personal finances will determine your level of wealth, the things you can afford, and how well you can utilize credit and debt. It can also affect your taxes and when and how well you can retire, and even affects the lives of your heirs if you do estate planning. There are entire groups of industries dedicated to helping you do these things through financial services, but you should know something about this subject before working with someone else to help manage such an important area of your life management. Mia, what can you tell us about the stories you have for the show tonight? Since our subject today is personal finance, I have two segments about people who can help you with that. Our first segment is with junior reporter Josie, who is interviewing financial planner and advisor Linda Lewis about why having a financial advisor is important and how they can help you with your goals. In the second half of our show, we will hear from a 30-year-old named Mindy Michaels about her plans to retire early and where she got her inspiration, or memespiration, or maybe just old-fashioned and old-school wisdom. It sounds like we have lots of valuable information in today's show, Mia. I'm looking forward to watching these with our viewers. Now, for our first quote question of the day, do you know who said, "The individual investor should act consistently as an investor and not as a speculator"? The answer to this question in Josie's interview coming right up. Junior reporter Josie is back again this week with another interview, this time with financial planner Linda Lewis. Linda has been in the business for over 10 years and is very passionate about helping her clients. She doesn't see it as a job, but more of a calling. Linda wasn't able to be with us today in person for the show due to COVID restrictions, but she graciously agreed to appear on camera from her home office location. Thanks so much for joining us today, Linda. I know all of our viewers are really interested in the topic of personal finances, so I hope you're ready to dive right in. Can you start by telling us why having a financial planner is so important? Thank you, Josie. I am happy to be here. And of course, let's dive right in. Financial planners offer comprehensive wealth management. A financial advisor refers to anyone who helps people manage their money, but a financial planner helps people put together detailed plans to help them reach their ultimate goals, whether that be a particular lifestyle in retirement or building wealth to pass along to the next generation. Financial planners help people sort through all of the difficult decisions that come with making long-term financial goals come to fruition. Our goal is both to help simplify and enrich our clients' lives. Isn't financial planning just for rich people? How can you help the average person? Well, most people want to retire eventually, and even if you don't think you have much, that is when it is the most important that you plan for it. Planning makes it more likely than not, and we can help by guiding you through the complexities of planning for it. We can give you a clearer picture of when it may be the right time to retire and what you need to keep comfortable throughout retirement, or how to make it happen at all. We can also help with planning for other large goals, not just retirement. For example, paying college tuition for your children or big events like weddings. All large saving goals require a plan, and we can help with that. Well, okay, you've convinced me. What should everyone else you have convinced be prepared to discuss when they come to see you? The first item for discussion is generally people's financial goals and their expectations for when they would like to be able to meet those goals. It's kind of a getting to know each other session. It's not just about when you want to retire, but what you want your retirement to look like. Will you stay in your hometown and take up a hobby or travel around the world? Do you want to retire at 50 or 65? These goals will require very different amounts to fund. We look at how realistic that is given your savings ability and investing or risk tolerance. It sounds like you would need a lot of information to evaluate all of that. What should a new client be prepared to share with you during the first meeting? We like to think of our first meeting with a potential client as an information exchange. We let them know what it is we offer to our clients, and we'll ask for things like what types of investments they may already have, such as workplace retirement plans, and have them give us a general idea of their current cash flow and savings habits to give us a basis for helping them plan for the future. Whether you want a relaxing hobby-filled retirement or a globe-trotting one, we want to help make that happen for you. Well, I would guess you've had many interesting initial consultations discussing future plans with potential clients. Are there any misconceptions about what you do? The one I see most is that some think a financial planner is just a stock trader. Managing clients' investment portfolios is important, but it's only part of a larger financial plan, which also includes debt and risk management, estate and task planning, and budgeting for both short and long-term goals. Managing debt is a good example. If this is a problem for you, we can help identify problem areas and give advice on balancing a budget to reduce debt. And once it is either paid off or paid down, managing the debt that is left to keep it at a reasonable level. That's interesting. So what things can you do or not do for your clients? We can provide a roadmap to help meet one's financial goals with a broad understanding of specialized areas like tax planning and estate management. But things like completing a tax return and creating a will ultimately need to be taken care of by certified professionals in those areas. We can, however, offer clients introductions to those types of service providers, and if a client wishes us to do so, work closely with them to coordinate our efforts in those areas. So what do you wish people knew already about what you do? I wish more people realized that we weren't solely investment managers, but financial stewards who have a fiduciary responsibility to manage our clients' financial lives, always putting our clients' best interests ahead of our own, not only because it's the right thing to do, but to make it clear how important it is to us to preserve trust in our relationship with our clients. Advisors registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, as registered investment advisors are required by law to exercise duties of loyalty, care, and full disclosure in their interactions with clients. This means that the fiduciary relationship relies on the highest ethical standards, and that a financial advisor must act for their client in a way the client would if they were as knowledgeable as their advisor and had the same skills. So make sure when you are deciding who to work with, you choose someone who is registered with the SEC. Well, I can see why that would be important considering who to work with. Thank you for that clarification. Well, I believe we're all out of time for this part of the show. Thanks so much for being with us, Linda, and sharing your expertise. Thank you for inviting me. Any chance to speak about my favorite subject is a pleasure. The process that a financial advisor or planner goes through with you is very similar to the project management process and setting other types of goals. They start with listening to your ideas and what you want in the future, and they use their expertise to help you put together the plan, schedule, and requirements for getting there. They can also advise you along the way. Most financial goals are long-term, and many things can change along the way. Having someone knowledgeable on your team can help you with changing your approach or your goals, depending on what is needed. Absolutely, Mia. Financial advisors and planners can be 90% of the research you need to do to put together your plan. Do you have an advisor or planner already that you're happy with? If so, let us know in the comments. If you don't, what's holding you back? And now, the answer to our quote question from the top of the show. Do you know who said the individual investor should act consistently as an investor and not as a speculator? It was economist, professor, investor, and widely known as the father of value investing, Ben Graham. Up next in our Memespiration segment, we'll hear from Mindy Michaels, who was recently inspired to set a goal of early retirement. She had a different sort of advisor, but one no less wise than Linda. Now, our second quote question for today. Do you know who said, "Too many people spend money they earned to buy things they don't want, to impress people that they don't like"? Stay tuned to find out. Mindy and her grandmother, or Nana, go out for brunch every year on her birthday. It's a bit of a tradition, and it gives them a chance at least once a year to take their time and catch up on everything in person, and with mimosas. Now, while Mindy was filling in Nana with the stuff going on at work, she was also lamenting about the poor state of her finances and how she was unlikely ever to retire. After Mindy and Nana finished gossiping about the rest of the family, their talk turned to the future. Nana teased Mindy by asking when she was going to get her act together and start doing grown-up things like buying a house. Mindy reminded her what a difficult economy everyone was experiencing now. Nana felt the need to remind Mindy that just because something was difficult didn't mean it was impossible. Mindy showed her this meme, and they laughed about their friendly disagreement before moving on to other subjects. The next day, Mindy couldn't stop thinking about what Nana said and the meme she shared as a joke. Mindy knew that she should be budgeting, but it was just so easy to put things she needed on credit when she overspent on other things. While she was looking up tips for budgeting, she found an article about the FIRE concept: Financial Independence, Retire Early. The article she found was about retiring at 35, which was extremely unlikely for her since that was only 5 years away. But when she read about how other people were working towards early retirement, it didn't sound impossible. Mindy considers herself very fortunate since she was able to continue working from home when many others were laid off or without pay for months. It was difficult, but not impossible. It was also annual enrollment time for her benefits package in a couple of weeks, and this might be a good time to do a little research before picking her health insurance, 401k contributions, and investment options for the next year. After reading through several more articles on budgets, frugal living, and FIRE planning, she started to develop a plan of her own. First, she scheduled an appointment with a financial planner. They went over her income, previous habits, new savings goals, target for retirement, and lifestyle. Once the plan was together, Mindy had some clear targets to meet every month. At the end of the year, Mindy and her financial planner would review together to make adjustments if necessary. Mindy wasn't so sure that she would be able to do the extreme frugal living that would be required to meet her goals, so she decided to concentrate on increasing her income. From her research, she learned that most people working towards early retirement had a second source of income. Some had a side business, some rental property, and some did freelance work. Mindy decided to take a two-pronged approach by doing freelance work and diversifying her skills by taking some online classes to increase her job income. Her goal was to save 50% of her job income, and perhaps, after building up her freelance work over time, trying to live off of that income alone and save 100% of her salary. Mindy had a tough time at first. It took a while for her to make any money doing freelance work, but when she did, that and the online classes meant no free time at all. She laughed about it later, since being busy made it easier to save money. After about 6 months, she finally got into a routine with the freelance work and was able to manage her time better. She also finished the online classes, and the skills she picked up were helping at her job. At the end of the first year, she met again with her financial planner. The investments had actually done pretty well. She was maxing out her 401k contributions and had not quite met her savings goal, but was close at 45%. If she had not signed up for classes or purchased equipment to help with her freelance work, she would have met the 50% goal. But she felt both of these expenses were investments in her future, so was not too concerned about missing the target in the first year. At the end of their review, Mindy showed her planner the meme that started it all. They talked a bit about how it took a little effort in the beginning to switch from a want to a need mindset when it came to buying things, and how budgeting made it a lot easier to not only control her discretionary spending, but encouraged her to look at how much she was paying for things she did need and looking for discounts. After the review, they decided to make a few adjustments to the plan for the next year. Mindy was doing well with the freelance work, but since there were only so many hours in the day, she didn't think she would be able to do any more there, and she would not be able to live off of that income. So she decided to start a new venture by blogging about her experiences to see if she could build a following there to generate income. It would mean cutting back a little on the freelance work and perhaps not being successful, but that was a risk she was willing to take.
Mindy is now well on her way to meeting her long-term goals. She managed to increase her earnings, make major changes to her spending habits, start saving, and made some positive improvements in her life. Mindy isn't the only one that can do this, though. So can you. Everyone's situation is different, so there aren't any step-by-step instructions that are guaranteed to work. But the first step is deciding, and the second is the research, just like initiation and planning and project management. No matter what your financial goals are, making a well-researched plan on how to accomplish it will increase your chances of success. Getting some professional help with putting your plan together is a matter of choice, but highly recommended. Professionals can advise on options you might not be aware of, develop a better plan than you could on your own, hold you accountable, and increase your odds of success. Project management processes also include bringing in an expert advice at just about every stage. Why? Because it benefits the project, and it can benefit you as well. Now, to answer our second quote question for the day, do you know who said, "Too many people spend money they earned to buy things they don't want, to impress people that they don't like"? That was entertainer, radio personality, actor, and writer famous for homespun humor and social commentary, Will Rogers. That's all for What the Heck Do I Know's PM Update with Leah and Mia, and our Target Ambition and Memespiration segments for this week. Thank you for watching, and see you next time on our next episode of PM Update. Good night. Hey there, before you go, don't forget to support these videos by hitting like and subscribe. I love seeing comments too.